Welcome into another episode of the Film Room. I am really excited to be joined today by Temira Poindexter, forward over at Kansas State. Tamara, first and foremost, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, you guys are having a hell of a year to start the year so far. Somehow we're already like midway through Big 12 play. I have no
Yeah,
idea how.
I
Um,
know.
yeah, knowing this is final year for you, how are you kind of feeling so far? Knowing like, I'm a senior, obviously you want to stay in the moment, but also, every day you're getting ready for the next game.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of crazy. I feel like I was just a freshman, but I'm glad I got to transfer here to K-State this year. I feel like we've been doing a pretty good j job so far. Yeah, I love the team. I love my teammates, and I think I'm glad with my choice to come here. I really like it.
Yeah, no, so I wanted to actually ask about that first because um I know just from hearing past interviews from you that you really just wanted to go try something new. But what set
Mhm.
you on K-State? Like what made you say this is the place that I want to go for my final year?
Just when I visited here, like that was my one and only visit that I have ever done in my life.
Yeah.
So it kind of just hit me different. I don't know. It felt like the right place. I really liked the team and Coach Mitty, and I like the staff. So it really just clicked for me, honestly.
Yeah. Had you watched them play before you committed or was
Yeah,
that
I watched a couple of the games. I remember watching them in like the tournament last year.
okay. Are you someone who's like kind of always watching ball in the background or how do you kind of approach that?
I usually watch college games. I really like to watch college, but like I don't really watch like NBA anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm a
It's
college guy.
hard, honestly, seriously. Like it's so hard to like keep up, especially when you're doing it. Like,
Yeah,
where's
yeah,
the time, man? So
yeah.
I feel that. Do you keep up with the W at all in the off season?
A little bit. I mean, not that much as I should. I want to do watch more, but not really.
Yeah, busy getting there. So,
Yeah.
that understandable. In terms of looking at this year though, for people who hadn't seen you before this season,
Mhm.
um, I mean, I can't think of a team that plays much different from Kansas State than Tulsa, like much
Mhm.
more up tempo. I know it was like a lot more Princeton style and like kind of a lot of playing through you too. So I was really interested, when you made the transfer. I was pretty excited. Like I knew you were somebody who could play at the next level with respect to, playing high major and going from there. But I was interested to see what it was going to look like for you kind of translating into a new role. And I think obviously you've done a very good job of that. But what was that adjustment process like for you, kind of coming in, knowing, all right, this is going to look a little bit different for me? Um, but yeah, like kind of walk us through that a little bit. What was that like for you coming in and kind of figuring out what that would look like?
Yeah, so at Tulsa I was like the ball did run through me a lot, so I knew that coming into Kansas it was going to be a lot different. I mean, just learning my role and like learning how to play with a bunch of girls that can play too, like we ha already have players that can score and players that, are good. So I knew that I had to come in and like, work a little harder and just try to fit in and do what I do best, try not to force anything and just play me and play my game. So I feel like I'm still learning how to play my role and like I'm still learning as we go on in season, but I mean, I feel like I'm fitting in pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, I would say very well. I think that's what's been really fun is watching like, I watched all the games, not all the games back. I've seen most of the games, but did not have time to watch 17 back. I watched like just kind of chronologically from the start of the year to now when I was pulling stuff
Mhm.
for the film edit and like I think that stands out a ton. Like you see like little minor things that it seems small, but like it's really significant in game. Like, okay, your positioning on defense or how you're loading up to do something and just getting more comfortable feeling things in the offense. I think
Yeah.
that was one of the things that stood out for me going back and watching like Duke and like that Las Vegas tournament for you guys. I was like, okay, you can see right here, like, this is that for, and like, granted, it was like what, game three. So it makes sense when things aren't always like
Yeah.
perfect right away. That's a tough team to play against too. But then you see
Yeah.
that, like, obviously watching BYU again the other day, like, things click pretty well. So I'm excited to see what this keeps looking like in Big 10, Big 12, geez, in Big 12 play, obviously. I wanted, going off that too, just a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Um, in Big 12 play, kind of like getting accustomed to that. What has that been like for you? Because I think it's obviously a very different league this year. I would definitely describe it as different from the American in terms of play style and how everything works. So what has that been like for you so far and kind of getting the first feel for that?
It's definitely, I would say like a big difference is like just the size and like the strength of the players, I mean, it's definitely a big change. So just like that aggressiveness and just like playing against people who are bigger than me and probably stronger than me. So but our strength coach just did a good job. I feel like I'm getting stronger. So but yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's interesting because I feel like the Big 12 is like one of the conferences where it feels like just about everybody has like a 6'5" plus post,
Right. Yeah,
which is just
everyone has
it's
it.
different. It takes a lot of
Yeah.
getting used to with that. It changes a lot on the court.
Mhm.
So in terms of like just talking about the next level too, who would you say has been like most influential to you in your playing career and kind of like, taking each step that you have getting towards being a professional eventually?
Just like a person in my life or like somebody I look up to, like another player
Kind of
or
honestly both, whoever.
okay. Um, well, for my like family wise, it's just like always been like my parents and like my sister and brother, really my little brother because he's playing basketball, so I obviously want to be like a good role model for him, you know. He looks up to me a lot, so I he definitely pushed me to go where I want to go. I mean, like where I want to be and so yeah, I definitely like my family. And I would say, I don't know. I look up to like Asia. I like Asia Wilson. I don't know. She's just like,
How can you not, right?
I don't know, like, and she's like a big, so you know what I'm saying? She's kind of in my position, and it's just like, yeah, she's a great player.
No, I love that. Um, Going off that too, like you mentioned in terms of just positioning where you're at, where do you
Mhm.
feel most comfortable at on the court? Because I think that again, that's another thing that's been really fun to watch with K-State is kind of, I mean, you guys play with a lot of size, a lot of length, and kind of mix things up a lot. So where do you feel best at on the court?
I really like the four position. I mean, that's what I've been playing, but I really do. That's where I feel comfortable the most. I mean, like I can have the ball in my hands, but I'm also like, you know, screening and like doing other things too. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you can obviously like you have the athleticism to play down at the three, but I think especially with what you do shooting at the four and kind of just
Mhm.
being able to attack things like that, um, especially with where the game is at and where it keeps heading, I think that is just like so big time to be able to do that. But also it's funny like you mentioned bringing up strength. I never watch you and think Temira is not strong. Like I think you are really good if you have to play up on somebody bigger. You do a really good
Mhm.
job at that.
Mhm.
You play with a lot of physicality. And that matters a ton, especially like being able to play at the four spot. So that always stands out in watching your game. Um, Last question I have before we get into watching the film. Um, in terms of just like what you've done this year, what you want to keep improving on, what's maybe been the number one thing for you that you've been proud of yourself for, and number one thing that you're looking to keep building on in Big 12 play.
Um, what I'm proud of myself about, I feel like just coming in and just taking in my role, you know, day by day and just like working hard each game to get better and better. I mean, it's not easy to come into a new team and like try to fit in. So I feel like I did a good job with just taking my time and just like learning how each player, you know, what they like and, you know, just learning little things about them, you know, to be able to fit in better. So I feel like that's a thing to be proud about. I mean, and honestly, just to get better or like um let me think. I don't know. I mean, just trying to be I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that question answer for that
No, that's
question.
fair. It's hard to kind of sit down and like get that one right in the moment for sure.
Right.
Um, but just to like illustrate again for people, just like how different this role has been for you. So you've posted up, I think 17 times this year is the number I have on
Mhm.
Synergy. Do you want to guess what it was last year?
Yeah, Tulsa, I probably a lot more than that.
It's definitely a lot more. You were at 86 last year. So
Yeah.
like quite a bit more considering this is half the season. And again, like I think it kind of goes under the radar for, if people are just watching your game now, like it just looks smooth with where
Mhm.
you're at. but it's been a very big role shift. And again, like I think you deserve a lot of kudos for getting that pulled off and buying into that because I think that's the hardest part is like, all right, how do I do this? Like, what does this look
Right.
like? And so that's been really fun to watch. Lastly, while I'm getting the film pulled up, what has it been like getting used to Serena as a passer? Because she's like very different as a playmaker compared to a lot of people that you come across. So what has that been like for you?
Serena, she's like I've never played with a point guard. Like she's the same height as me. So it's
Yeah.
different. Like it's kind of crazy that, she's a point guard. And but playing with Serena is just like it's like you gotta be ready for anything because I mean Serena's looking for you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how she is. I mean, she's not selfish with the ball. She's looking for you. So it's always just about being ready to and having the confidence to shoot and knock down a shot. So
Yeah. Well, you have been shooting the leather off the ball this year, which is a big thing we're going to talk about. So, before we dive into the film, I'd like to shout out our sponsor for this video series, State Champs. State Champs is a streetwear brand based in Ohio, focused on building up women's sports and local sports. Check out their website at the link down below for the apparel collab we've done recently. Any purchases there directly support my work, and hey, you can get some cool swag as well. Back to the film. All right, so I want to start going off of just looking at your defense because I think so much of playing at the next level is like, yeah, what you bring offensively matters, but how do you kind of build off that with what you bring defensively? And I think, like we're talking about, what's been really fun is watching um, how you've gotten more comfortable on that and continue to take on the role. Because I mean, you've been guarding the best player every night essentially. Um, and taking on a lot within that. But also you guys play huge. Like I think that goes under the radar a lot. I mean, Yoki's like 6'6", you're
yeah.
6'2", Serena's 6'2". Like
Mhm.
sometimes you have lineups out where everybody's 6 foot, 6'1" tall, 6'1" or plus. What has that kind of been like getting to play with a defensive infrastructure like that? Because that's just, I mean, that's not something that a lot of people get to take advantage of.
I mean, it's definitely different. I mean, and it kind of what makes us, hard to like play against because other teams like they never know who's gonna be guarding them because sometimes Serena could be guarding the four and I'm guarding the two, or what I'm saying, Yoki's guarding the four, Serena's guarding the five. So I feel like that's what makes it so hard and different about us because we can just switch and we have a lot of puzzles. Like we have a lot of pieces to our puzzle.
Yeah, I love you mentioned switching because that's what we're going to look at right away. So, I want to start off asking you, playing against this Creighton team. I mean, tons
Mhm.
of off-ball screening, off-ball movement. When you're coming in for this game, what is kind of like main focus on being prepared for it?
Just our urgency and like us being on the same page because um Coach Mitty always talks about our urgency and just like, you know, making them do what you want to do instead of what they want to do and just like being aggressive, early so you can like dictate what they're doing. So I feel like urgency was like a main point for this game and just like your teammates being on the same page because it's going to be emergency switches. So your teammate has to be ready to switch and just being on the same page.
Absolutely. So looking at this play here too,
Mhm.
in terms of just like being effective switching, what do you think is most key for you in this play? So like when you look at this play, what is like, all right, what makes this a good play for you?
Um, just like being able to switch with Serena and then going down, being aggressive, not letting her, just turn around and look for what she wants, putting some pressure so she has to kind of rush her shot or make a decision earlier.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point because like I think one of the things that can be a problem in switching or just in general when a team plays like when you have so much to work with behind you, you can get kind
Mhm.
of comfortable with it and then let people make decisions with the ball. So I loved like just getting your hands in there, making it tough.
Yeah.
That stands out a ton in switching. So right here, one of my things that I love about your game is your ability to impact things at the rim. You can really get up and block shots, and I think we can see even more of that from you as you're getting more comfortable in what you can do off the ball. Um, Especially like kind of feeling out some of these possessions, like wanting to make a play on the ball. How have you balanced that of wanting to, obviously not get into foul trouble or something like that, but also still want to make an impact?
I mean, it's always just about picking your moments and, just being smart because, I mean, there's no reason to get, these tic tac fouls, early in the quarter or early. So definitely just picking the right moment. And if you know you can get it, and that's when you go and give your 100% and get it.
You definitely picked the right moment on this one. I also
Mhm.
gotta say too, you do a really good job of keeping the ball in bounds when you block shots, which seems small, but it's big because it opens up so much going the other way. Actually, if I remember correctly, I think you got an open three off this going the other way. I cut it early, but I can't remember. Um, so going off this too, when you're looking at this possession with again with the way that they screen, how they get to the ball, what's
Mhm.
running through your mind as you watch this possession back?
Just knowing that, like they're coming into like an action, like a split, I don't know. So just being ready to switch with Zai or just like read what she's doing, being on the same page. Like if they pop back, I got it. If they go down, you got it. I feel like we worked on that a lot in practice. So I feel like we were on the same page there too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the communication stands out because like
Mhm.
you don't give up any pocket here. And one of
Mhm.
the things I think you do really well too is just even if you have to go under a screen or you get caught on a screen, you're really good at just getting your hand up on the other side. I have no
Yeah.
idea what your wingspan is, but I'm sure it's pretty long because you're really good at getting into like just a shooter's pocket and making it uncomfortable. So I love that. And then obviously, that's defense too. Work them into a tough shot. They don't want to take mid range like that. So I think
Mhm.
it's obviously what
Yeah.
you want to get to. Um,
Yeah.
right here, what stands out to you about this play?
Ooh. Um, I I'm gonna let me see. Yeah, I didn't rebound. I was just watching. I don't know. I thought she was gonna make it. That's what I thought. I was getting ready to run out,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think it's interesting. That's one of the tough parts of playing a team like Creighton, where everybody can shoot. It's like obviously you don't want to let anything up, but also like, you don't want to give up those opportunities. But I think that's one of the things that if I only had like one thing that I could say about your defense this year, I think you can bring even more on the defensive glass.
mhm.
So I'm be interested to see more of that. But again, like
Yeah.
we talk about most recent games, I think you're starting to really feel that more. And we're gonna get to one of those clips in a second, but absolutely. So right here with the Duke game, I think part of what's tough is like Creighton is a team where everything is read and react. They're really not running plays. It's just actions. Duke,
Yeah.
everything is set driven. So it's
Mhm.
all just like a ton of moving parts. So with this play, I think they came out and tried to hit you guys with like a million screens early
Yeah.
on in this game. When you're watching this play back, what stands out to you?
Hmm. Just we're just late on everything. We're not dictating what I'm saying? Like we're just letting them run whatever they want to run, just I feel like this was one of our badder defensive games. I mean, we're usually not this late in like stuff. So our urgency was pretty bad in this game.
Yeah,
My
I think it's a great point to bring up because, like you mentioned, like you talked about with the Creighton game, I think so much of what where you guys excelled was taking things away, and it felt like in this game, um, it felt like Duke was really able to take you guys out of things, and like you mentioned, be able to dictate things.
Mhm.
Again, your ability to like get back and still like just be here, be visible matters. But like I think, yeah, like we mentioned, I think so much of screens is communication and being on target and getting to hit those things. So right here, one of the things that I really like to, I just think your ability to again use your feet, use your arms to contain really stands out a ton. Like even in an isolation scenario, Ashton Jackson's a really good isolation player, and you do a good job forcing this into a tough shot. Um, when you were, obviously preparing for this game or preparing for any game with a player that can really get into step backs and doing stuff like that, how do you kind of approach that in knowing what you want to take away or what playing to the game plan and the scheme?
Yeah, I mean, she was a great player, but I think when we play against people like that can do like moves like that, I feel like it's just about staying in front and just like getting a hand up, honestly. I mean, Coach Manny talks about that. Like just getting a hand up makes a lot difference, a big difference.
Yeah.
Um, and just not letting them be comfortable like with the shot, at least try to. alter it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I think again, like even if I think that's one of the things that stands out about you a ton. Like even if somebody's able to get you with a dribble move, like you're so good at getting back in and just making it, making it feel like it's not an open shot. And I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I love that aspect. Um, right here, this is probably one of my favorite plays you've made this entire season. So like you tell me what you see and then I'll let you know why I like it.
Hmm.
Obviously, the block is fantastic. But yeah, when you're going back through this play, what stands out to you most?
Um, sh the shot clock's running down, so they're panicking to get a shot up. I feel like we did a good job in scrambling and had a good gap right there, so she couldn't just drive to the basket, help Taryn and then close out because she's gonna have to shoot it.
Absolutely. And okay, so why I love this and why I played that clip earlier from the Creighton game with the rebound, like this is great stuff. Like I know you guys have been running like, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you guys have gone to a lot of like kind of no middle principles recently,
Mhm.
of trying to just keep the ball on the outsides. Doing
Mhm.
this is so huge in that because like obviously you want to take away any kind of one pass away stuff. And then this
Right.
is huge too on just like preventing any kind of rebound either if somebody puts up some at the rim. So like I love just it's a great tag. Obviously, great help, great closeout. I mean, you see your ability to make a huge play like that, but I think the stuff that happens before it is what I
Mhm.
really like because, excuse me, with especially talking like next level, it's about all those little plays within a play, right? And that's just great defense.
Mhm.
So with this one, especially with this Utah game in general, just kind of getting used to their play style.
Yeah.
What was that like coming in for this, knowing how they play, what they want to get to? Obviously,
Mhm.
this is a great play right here, but what was that like for you preparing for that? Similar, obviously different, but similar style to Creighton and kind of how they want to get things.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be a tough game. I mean, it was definitely one of the tougher ones for me because how they play of like the back doors and like so we were working that on that a lot in practice. I'm not gonna lie, the practice players were doing a pretty good job, back doors. So they were killing us with that. So I mean, we knew that that's what we were gonna have to focus on, just keeping them contained and dictating of what we want them to do and getting up into them early. This is all the stuff we were talking about in practice and working on. So I feel like we did good this game with the scout. I feel like we did a great job. They might have got a couple back doors, but I feel like we did a good job. And then just knowing that they're all shooters, and that they're not really trying to drive, they want to shoot it or in back doors. So I feel
Yeah.
like yeah.
Well, hey, if you get killed by the scout team, that's not the one that shows up on national
Yeah,
TV. So, and it's
right.
funny that you're saying that was a tough one because like you said, I think you guys were killer on the scout in
Hmm.
this game. For you particularly though, with like getting around screens, I think that's a really big aspect for you at the next level and just even this year too. Like, what is most key for you, do you feel like in terms of defending, especially a player who can pull up from behind the screen?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's important to like get touches or like get into them
Mhm.
while we're playing one-on-one before the screen gets there, so you're able to put a little more aggressiveness on them so that they can't just like go off the ball screen pretty easy. And just like, I mean, if they pull back and step back behind the screen, trying to close out, but just reading the angle, trying to get under it as fast as I can or over it. And I feel like our bigs do a good job with switching. So if we do switch, then get back to the big and block out. So
No, most definitely. Um, So this one
yeah,
too, yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about with like emergency and late switching. I think um this one was like when you're talking about getting through and around screens, especially like Utah does not want to shoot a mid-range shot ever.
right.
Like that's like the exact opposite of what they want to do. So I think just being able to chase and make this like cool, you have to take that shot, stands out a ton. Especially like working with a big who can drop. Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you guys really didn't play drop very much at Tulsa. Not that I can remember.
Yeah.
So like playing with, Yoki, Kennedy, like players who can really protect the rim like that. What
Yeah.
has that been like kind of getting used to playing like that on the perimeter? Because I feel like that changes up quite a bit for you defensively when you are playing in more drop.
hmm Yeah. It's good to like know that if you have to emergency switch, it's good to know that we have a good presence down there that can, block it or something. But yeah, I don't really know.
No, you're good. That's fair because like I think just kind of it's a totally different thing to get used
Yeah,
to.
all right.
Um, So right here too, when we talk about like with how difficult Utah is with some of their stuff, like so much of this game they've been setting up like they want to just play out of that empty corner ball screen and then hit with a quick reject. What do you think, like just kind of like watching back through this play?
Mhm. Um, I definitely was anticipating that she was gonna go to the left, so I was kind of forcing her. I mean, I gave up the whole baseline,
Mhm.
thinking that she was gonna go back that way, but yeah.
But it's the recovery though, because exactly like I mean I think part of again what stands out so much in this game, like you guys were on a string. So like Serena goes, makes that play, you get back, make it a tougher shot. Um, but again, like recognizing it is key too, because like I think it's that's the tough part. Like I feel like for you, you are so good at being able to do things that other people can't, in my opinion, just with like your ability to close out, recover. That like all it takes is, when you okay, well, what about the one time where you do get got with it? It takes time to like kind
Yeah.
of get used to that. So it's been yeah. So this play too, again, like this is a play that I love from you. Just when we're talking about playing in scheme and doing, what you need to do defensively.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so especially just like with tagging up in general and like being active. Like I think this closeout, like I'm gonna just pause right there. Look, I mean, there is nothing there. That's like a completely empty shot to take from the corner. Like they have to take it because that's where they're at. But I think your ability to like again like tag up, close out, play with mobility, just like roam and be active stands out a ton. Um, I feel like this is the game. Like I mean, there were multiple games, but I feel like especially defensively, you really like have just kind of like it felt like you really started to click with this group just before
Mhm.
Big 12 play and really starting to find that. Would you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, that's what they kind of want out of me. That's because they've been pushing me. So I feel like I've been trying to do a little bit more than what I have in the past years. I mean, I wanted, it was a goal for mine. It was a goal of mine to be better on defense and like, get steals and stuff. So
Yeah, we're seeing it. So it's been
seeing,
really, yeah, absolutely. So I forgot. Yeah, Serena is totally taken out on this play. Um,
yeah.
tough. Um, this play. So yeah, now getting into your offense too. I think the first thing right away, like your ability to shoot it. I think you're taking almost 7 threes a game right now. Like over 70% of your shots are from three, and you're shooting like what, like 37, 38%, just really good. Um, you can't be helped off of, I think is the number one thing. Like your confidence is so key, so killer. Like you're always ready to let it fly. And like you mentioned with Serena, she's always going to find you. Like she's always
Yeah.
looking. In terms of like getting more comfortable, because you took a lot of stuff off the dribble last year too at Tulsa and like could really create your own shot. And you've done some of that this year too. But what has been most key for you in becoming just like, I mean, one of the better off-ball three-point threats in the country? Because you have been. You're shooting like shoot like 41, 42% on catch and shoot threes.
Mhm. I mean, I just found out that that was a strength of mine. I mean, um, I feel like from like coaching last year, I mean, that's what we focused on was 3-point shooting. So, I mean, I got a lot of that in like my earlier years of basketball. So, I always knew that I was a pretty good shooter. So, just it's all about just like the confidence of letting it fly. I mean, if you miss, because I've had some pretty bad shooting games this season, but it's always just about just the confidence to just keep shooting it. I mean, not all of them are going to go in. It's just about working on it and having the confidence.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like if you want people to come flying out to you like this when you do catch
Right.
the ball, you have to keep shooting it.
You
Like,
have
you
to.
know, a player who
Mhm.
takes 7 or 8 threes a game is going to get more attention than somebody who takes 2 or 3. So it's just,
Mhm.
it's so
Yeah.
important to do. Um, right here too, I think you get to see more of just what you can do as a shooter. Like I think this relocation is awesome. Like I think again, when you're talking about like getting comfortable in the flow of the offense, understanding what you guys want to do in motion, and then just seeing where you can attack.
Mhm.
This was a great play. Obviously, you hit a million threes in this game, but this was one of my favorites because I think again, like making those plays within the play,
Yeah.
is really big time. Um,
Yeah.
especially in terms of like getting comfortable in that offense too, right? Like, what has that been like for you in feeling that out? Because again, a very different offensive system.
Mhm. Um, it was different. I'm not gonna lie, it was different. A big change, but just about picking the moments and just doing what doing what you do best and doing it to your fullest ability. I mean, there's no reason to go out there and try to force and like show people that you can go score. I mean, it's just about picking the right moments, making the right plays. And I felt like my teammates, um, they definitely pushed me to like be a good offensive scorer. I mean, they're always giving me the confidence to shoot it and score it. And, like, so I give a lot of it to them because they definitely gave me that confidence too.
Yeah, you make it sound easy, but that is not everybody's story. So it's awesome you've been able to find that. Um, right here too, again, just looking at your ability to this one stood out for me a ton in terms of like again, knowing like you really just like are feeling the offense. So
Mm,
much of your guys' motion, like it's literally empty side, enter the AOK, and then you flash. And I think what I love
mm,
right here, so often, like I think when I see a player playing in this kind of system, like they can flash and they just stand there. I think bouncing this outside was awesome. Like I love this play. I'm sorry to like I just have to gush about that one because that's like again, that's you creating something just by
mm.
reading, knowing what to do inside the offense. It's great stuff. Um, especially like learning to play off of Aoka. What has that been like for you? Because I think very underrated as a passer. Like she's really good at just moving the ball
Yeah,
when she gets
yeah,
extra eyes on her.
yeah.
Um, so what has that been like for you?
Um, yeah, Yoki, she draws a lot of attention from the defense. So
Undersells it, yeah.
yeah, like she draws a lot of it. So just knowing that players are always going to turn their head when the ball goes into Yoki or like, they're always going to crash down because they're trying to take that away. So just knowing that, um, yeah, Yoki, she's gonna pass it if she's looking for you. And just knowing that, yeah, that's where a lot of the attention goes to.
Most definitely. Especially right here too. Like what things are you looking at on your defender to know like, okay, I want to bounce this back outside.
Yeah, like right there, she's digging down at Yoki. So, I mean, at the free throw line, I could have backdoored,
Mhm.
but because that's what we work on. But I feel like it was a better option just to come out because it's kind of full over there. So
Well, absolutely too, because like, all right, if you do this and she closes out to you and takes away your pocket, well, Yoki's got a one-on-one again, you can repost.
mhm.
Like, there's so
Repost.
much stuff you can do off of it that works well. So now I want to get into your finishing because I mean you're getting run off the line now. And you have I mean you have been since the beginning of the year, but I think it really stands out again in Big 12 play. Um, when you're seeing this kind of closeout come at you, what are you thinking in your head?
Um, just attack where she's coming from. I mean, she's probably closing long on me to take away the shot. So the drive is definitely open. Just attacking where she's coming from.
Mhm. I love the stride change too here. Like I think that's a really great way to get to the rim and just get into your
Mm,
finish easy too. Um, it's that I feel, and again, that's something that I think like so often when I'm talking to people, I'm like, you got to watch, even if you're thinking of like, all right, so if you're talking about the 2025 draft, which you're going to be in, like people are thinking like, oh, well, I'm looking at your Kansas State stuff. I'm like, all right, well, if you want to see stuff about how Temira finishes the basketball, watch Tulsa because I talked to Adelia McKenzie from Illinois earlier this year. She said
mm.
you were the toughest player she's ever had to guard. So she does
Yeah.
not take that lightly. So yeah, you can definitely score it in a multitude of ways on the interior. right here too. When you're seeing this and knowing that you can take it, all right, what are you looking at here? What are you seeing? What do you want to get to?
Um, yeah, just reading it, boom. She's trying to come back and take away the right process. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think one
Finish.
of the things that's been really fun in your game this year is like again, like we're talking about, you were able to do so much at Tulsa and do it effectively, but like
Mhm.
being able to be even more efficient and do those things in a smaller role has really stood out. Like, I don't know if you're aware how much you've cut down your turnovers from last year. I think you were at like 3.5 turnovers per game last year. You're at like 1.7 this year.
Okay.
Part of that's having the ball less, but I also just think like you really make good decisions when you do get the ball in your hands. Like it's not
Mhm.
a lot of like catching and holding. Like you just go and make something happen. And that's also a filthy crossover. I'm a big fan. It's a good one.
Mhm.
Just a couple more things to dive into. So right here, one of the things that I've really liked, again, like we talked about, I think you did so much that was really effective posting up your past couple of years. It's been really fun to watch. I feel like I'm not trying to like write out the rules of your offense, but especially if you get down the court within like the first 5 seconds of the shot clock, I feel
Mhm.
like that's where all your post up stuff has come from. Like where you can find a mismatch, get down there, and just attack quick. And then I think, I mean, you just see your ability. If you get a mismatch, you have the strength, you have the footwork, you can really take advantage of stuff when it's there.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, um, when Yoki's not down there, like in the beginning when she's, trailing, I definitely try to take those opportunities as much as I can.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Easy points, have to. And then to close out, this is one of my, I mean, this was just one of your best plays the entire year. This obviously knowing shot clock, knowing what the play is.
Mhm.
I feel like this just kind of really displays your touch that you can put on the basketball. Like just for those who aren't aware up top, those 2 seconds on the shot clock. Um, when you're coming into this play knowing, okay, I need to A, get a shot up fast, B, ideally make it. Um, what is kind of like feeling out process, thought process here, knowing that this ball is probably coming to you?
You said, oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Ask it again, sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh,
Like so
got
what
you.
yeah, when you're
Mhm.
feeling this one out, knowing like, okay, cool, the ball's coming to me.
Mhm.
What are you thinking, like knowing, okay, cool, I can't take time, like this has to get up right away.
Yeah, just Coach Mady always says, well, we know we want a shot up. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, like knowing there's 2 seconds left and just knowing like the play is drawn up for me to get the shot off. So I mean, just getting it off and at least a decent shot at the end of the day. I mean,
No, absolutely. Also, I have to ask, were you guys aware after the game of how badly the score bugs were done in this game? So random, but like there wasn't a score bug for like half the game. It was just an empty
really,
screen. Yeah, just an empty
I
screen.
think I think that's what somebody told me that was watching the game. They're like,
Dude,
I couldn't
it was
the whole
awful.
game.
It
I was like,
was
wow,
It was like that until like midway through the third quarter. They changed the score bug in the middle of the
that
third quarter. It
sucks.
was like it was so weird, man. But Tamara, that's all the clips I got. I really enjoy getting to kind of like learn your process, understand some things from you. Is there anything you want to shout out before we get out of here?
Oh, no, I'm good. I mean, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I
likewise.
appreciate it. I appreciate that for real.
Yeah, no doubt. To everyone watching and listening, of course, keep up with all things K-State women's basketball. A lot of season left. Teams on way to trying to take over the Big 12 this season. Tomorrow's got a lot of great stuff ahead of her. If you haven't already, be sure to go subscribe down below. Enjoy the rest of your